What a beautiful winter morning this is. I do like winter in New England. Opening words this morning will come from Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel in his book, I Asked for Wonder. Faith is not the clinging to a shrine, but an endless pilgrimage of the heart. Audacious longing, burning songs, daring thoughts, an impulse overwhelming the heart, usurping the mind. These are all a drive towards serving the sacred within that rings our hearts like a bell. Let's sing together hymn number 226, People Look East. In your gray hymnal, please rise as you are able in body and spirit.
Good morning. Welcome to First Parish in Milton. My name is not Frank Graham. I'm pinch hitting for her this morning. My name is Lisa White, and I am a member of our worship committee. If you are having trouble hearing us, please raise your hand here in the meeting house or message us in the chat function of Zoom. Everyone okay? We are so glad that you have chosen to be here with us this morning or to join us virtually. However your journey, whatever your heritage, and whomever you love, you are welcome here. Your presence here on Sunday morning enriches worship for everyone. This sanctuary is made holy by your presence. If you're joining us for the first time, a special welcome. You will find information about First Parish in your pew, and one of the greeters or I would be happy to answer any questions you might have, and any of us would welcome the opportunity to walk you over to our social hour after the service. The work of living our faith is done both in and out of worship, so I call your attention to the printed announcements that came in your order of worship and that are also emailed in our weekly link. In particular, our Christmas Eve pageant is on Christmas Eve, and it's not too late to be involved in it if you want to. I think we still have some roles we could fill, and there's plenty of volunteering to be done, setting up, breaking down anything you might want to do. So Steve Yakudis, could you raise your hand? Or me or Bridget, if you are interested in helping. It's going to be really fun. So come watch it if you're not participating, if you're in town. Charlie Franich wanted to say a couple of words about something.
Good morning. My name is Charlie Franich, and I am Chair of the Stewardship Committee. My announcement should have been in the link and in the announcements this morning, but I was chasing grandchildren in midweek and forgot to give it final authorization. The Stewardship Committee is in the process of ramping up this year's annual budget drive. And we decided this year that we want to do an event in midwinter as a sort of a celebration in the middle of the process. So on Saturday, January 21st in the evening, probably from something like 5 to 8, we plan to hold an event somewhat in the same spirit as the Harvest Supper. We're calling it Sing for Your Super, a gathering in gratitude. Now, we're going to base the meal around a potluck arrangement of soup and salad, if possible. And we're going to have entertainment. And we're aiming to have childcare, and we will have a bar as well for beer and wine. The other piece that I want you all to be thinking about is in the spirit of what used to be called the Thorny Brown Award many years ago. We're going to have the microphone be open for folks to come forward and express their gratitude for anyone in the congregation that they feel they would like to express gratitude for. Just to remind us all of why we're doing what we're doing, why we're taking money out of our pockets, why we're working as hard as we're doing to make this a great community. So Saturday, January 21st, be there. Thank you.
Thanks, Charlie. Now is the moment when we can focus on being here, when we can choose to connect with ourselves and with the divine, when we can choose to just be present. Now let's take a few moments to greet one another and extend a warm welcome to old friends and new, staying in our seats to be COVID safe. For those of you on Zoom, please turn on your video and go to gallery view so you can say hello to others zooming in.
Hi, folks. Hi, Tucker. Hello. And Hale. Hey, Bill.
Good morning.
Good morning, people. And Carl and
Tuck.
Leslie. Hey there. And Andy and
Hi, Bill.
how is everybody?
Doing good.
Excellent. Excellent. Nice tree behind there, Carl.
Finally.
Dear. We believe in last minute possible trees. I mean, we'll maybe get the tree, but kind of decorate it Christmas Eve or, you know, whatever. But we'll be in California.
Each
We'll be in
Sunday, we
California.
light the chalice as a reminder that even
Hey,
in
guys.
an increasingly unpredictable and dangerous world, the flame continues to shine, a corner of warmth and awareness where we, the members of this faith community, can find comfort, support, and connection to one another. And we've got our Advent candles to light this week. I'd like to call up Ellen and Gabby. More pinch hitters. Sebastian Young is sick, sadly.
We light the fourth Advent candle for the power of peace. Peace in the heart, peace in the home, peace in the world. May the courage to heal and reconcile pulse steadily in our hearts. May the wisdom of life's worth resound in our souls. This light shines in the darkness and says, fear not, peace still abides.
I realize I skipped our call to worship too, so if you would join me, the words are in your order of worship. Come, let us gather. We gather to celebrate the sacred within and among us. We come to seek spiritual growth and understanding. We strive to practice acceptance, forgiveness, and love. Together, we work to build a world with justice and compassion. Come, let us gather together.
Just want to thank everyone for pitching in at the last minute. So last week, Jeff Stote did a wonderful discussion with everyone about the early Christmas Eve service, the pageant at 5, which is an interactive service that we'll be doing outside. There is also a 10 o'clock service on Christmas Eve. It's inside. It's a meditative service, a candle lighting service. We have lots of wonderful music. I heard the choir rehearsing this morning, and we have this lovely time together at 10 o'clock at night. And there's something really special about meeting and in the late night. There's a lovely, lovely stillness about it, and camaraderie. And a lot of it is around the lighting of lights. And we saw the lighting of the Advent candle this morning, the same kind of thing where we all light candles at the end and sing Silent Night together with the lights down and just the candlelight. And I grew up Unitarian Universalist, so that was one of my favorite services of the year. The candlelight service singing Silent Night is, I don't know how long it's been going on, but it's been going on. Shall I let you know how old I am? So at least 60 years. So, you know, it's been going on for a long time. And it's this wonderful time where we pass the light to the next person. So I thought maybe we would just practice a little how we do it. And what happens is the person that is going to have that is going to have their candle lit just puts their unlit candle up. So if you want to use an index finger or another finger, pretending it's an unlit candle. And then the person next to you takes the lit candle. Wait, other way around. The person with the light has the flame going and keeps the flame up. And the person that wants to have more flame leans in and gets the flame from the other. So can we have one person nearby agree and then the other person just sort of lean in? And the thing about it is sometimes we don't remember that we have, oh, now I have 2 lights going on. What do I do? Now we don't remember that it's actually a person that's holding that candle. So we are passing our light and our desire for a sacred time to one another. So that's one of the things that I really remembered growing up with a candlelight service. And some of you others may have had, there's different traditions that do a Christmas Eve night service. So we thought we'd do the same thing as last week. And if anybody has something they want to share about their Christmas Eve experience on a late night with the music and the meditation and the readings. Anyone have a memory that they'd like to share? Yes, Ruth. It's magical. Yeah, it's a magical time. Yes. Kathy stays with her cousin every year for Christmas. The night before Christmas is a very exciting time, right? Yes.
I would go to the 5 o'clock and my son would participate. And then we would go over to June Scott's house, which was lovely. She would have a big party for the people who were, doing one and then going to the 10 o'clock also. It was a nice time to get together.
Yeah, and at our church, there's a nice gap between 5 and 10, so people sometimes go to parties in between and then come back for the 10. Because it's two very different feelings, very different feelings. Yes, Dottie.
So I grew up Unitarian Universalist, and my best friend was Catholic. And one Christmas we decided that she would come to church with me at 5 or something, and I would go to midnight mass with her. And I arrived, and three of my other little friends said, "Hey, what are you doing here?"
There was one Christmas Eve when Carl Scoville was minister at King's Chapel, which is a Unitarian church in Boston, very sort of high church for Unitarian Universalists. And there were, when there were kids, when the kids were young for him, there was this time when it was very cold in the church. The heat wasn't very good. And when he was coming up to prepare for the candlelight service, he noticed they had a creche, which is, the manger scene, that the Jesus was missing. And on there was a note that said, "We have Jesus. You'll get him back when you turn up the heat." So they did get the Jesus back in time for the candlelight service. So yes, it's a lovely, wonderful time. And the music is just stunning. Tim does such a good job at that night. And so come to both, come to one or the other, really. Share Christmas Eve with us. So let's sing the children to their classes. Service. Now's the time in our service for stillness, a time where we settle into our bodies, be aware of our breath, be aware of how our bodies work in harmony to help us live. And just let yourself be there. Let whatever sounds happen. And sometimes a slight smile can help just ease into the calm that is available and possible.
This morning's reading is Teach Us to Look for You by Father Austin Fleming. Spirit of the living God, turn our faces to the east to look for your presence. Turn our faces in any and every direction from which you draw near to us. Teach us to look for you in places we would not expect to find you. Teach us to find you in places so well known to us that we now fail to see you there. Help us to see you in every guest we entertain. Let the beauty of a rose, of any bloom, reveal your presence to us. Let every bird who wings across the sky above remind us of the freedom that is ours. Let every star in the heavens be a light in the darkness of our lonely nights. Never let us forget that you are love, and that those who abide in love abide in you. Teach us to look east, sweet mystery, and north and south and west, that we might find you in every place we look, including within ourselves.
remember the first time. I realized that the arrival of cell phones was changing our culture. I was waiting at a gate in the airport for a friend to arrive. It was the early 90s, before 9/11, so we could go to the gate without having a ticket. As people were disembarking from the plane and entering the airport terminal, more than half were glued to their cell phones in a bubble of purpose, looking down or around to make sure they wouldn't bump into something or someone while going forward. And I remember feeling a cold shiver in my being that we were losing something quite precious. We were diminishing the possibilities of surprise encounters. In an instant, I felt lonelier. When I lived in Manhattan in the 80s, I used to love buying an apple at a fruit stand and walk for a mile or two on the city streets, simply taking in what I encountered. A dance of interaction, instant innovation of connection in the moment, stories and styles and stimulation, a kind of anonymous wonder of human being in motion. Now, more often than not, we're in our controlled bubbles, glued to our cell phones, often focusing on some encounter elsewhere than right where we are. We're managing our encounters, concentrating on our challenging schedules, filling our free time, avoiding boredom, sidestepping unplanned awareness, and overriding stillness. Too often now we treat each other as colliding bubbles in each other's way. The other day on the T, a young woman was standing while we traveled, talking at full voice to someone on the other end of her cell phone, not at all taking care that a good 30 other people were sharing the ride, let alone hearing her part of the conversation. The only way to avoid the interruption, if we wanted to, was to put our own earbuds in and lock down our awareness. We are losing our facility for shared spaces and surprise encounters. A resident theologian, who we all are, of course, was commenting the other day that we're treating our cell phones like they are a part of our bodies. Pulling away from them is like cutting off a piece of us. In our compulsion to get everything done, stay tuned, and not waste time, we're diminishing opportunities for creativity and mutual understanding. The wisdom of not knowing, not controlling, expands us. Unplanned time gives our creativity room to engage. Improvisation of being models the flow of evolution and discovery. Now, cell phones have also been great tools, especially during the pandemic. Many, many walks with a loved one on the other end of the phone has brought us closer to one another. Instant reference to information often furthers a conversation. And the ability to get in touch with others can ease worry. But ironically, in the expanded possibilities of connection, we now often choose who and why we connect, weakening our muscles of fielding the unknown, lessening our opportunities to welcome the stranger, increasing the avoidance of surprise encounter. We're practicing less, practicing facing the unknown, engaging what may be strange to us, and welcoming surprise are vital practices for the courage and humility needed for peace on earth, goodwill toward all. As we stay contained in the controlled life that electronics can provide, we can become more fearful of the unknown, or agitated by the loneliness of nothing to do, or uncomfortable with another ways of being, or unsettled by our own feelings, or increasingly unnerved with what might be going on in our own heads, distracting ourselves from true self and other knowledge. Avoiding discomfort in general then becomes the practice. Quite easily, with encouragement by politicians and pundits, what makes us uncomfortable is then to be blamed for our unsettled feelings. Others are what are keeping us from the life we want. It is fear that drives our willingness towards us and them. Fear that compels us to join others to eliminate unwanted challenges to our way of life. Fear that encourages our intolerance of making room for other ways of being, leading to acts of hatred and violence, as we feel a need increasingly to protect what we have and what we've created. Fear not is the assurance of the angel in the Christian nativity story to the shepherds in the open field, observing unfamiliar encounters, hearing new concepts of meaning. Fear not. Within most of the narratives of winter holidays comes the message to have faith in the miracle of being, to bring forth the light of wisdom within, and to move past fears for the potential for humankind. With this as the thread of messaging, to open ourselves to the new, to what is possible, to more than we've known before, to a humility and wonder of life in its fullness, ever discovered, ever reborn. Let's look at an aspect of the Christmas narrative, the journey of the Magi, the three legendary wise folk who traveled far to venture toward the possibility of shifting our global consciousness toward peace and justice. These travelers knew they would be strangers in a strange land. They braved setting aside traditions, hazarded rough terrain, and risked persecution to honor the vulnerable possibility, the relational wonder of universal love and dignity, come manifest in a new being and a new way of seeing. The legendary Magi were said to have come from the East, perhaps from the priestly caste of Persia, perhaps Zoroastrians who were practitioners of one of the earliest monotheistic faith traditions. Many placed them also as astrologers, people who looked to the night sky for stars to help guide their choices. It's important to know that star worship was condemned as idolatry in ancient Israel. And so that is an important part of this story. These wise folk brought their unfamiliar culture and customs to dangerous territory, for they believed they would encounter more than they knew for the betterment of all. This practice is a vital part of strengthening our peacemaking muscles, readied by the mysteries of shared being. Being willing to be a stranger, welcomed as a stranger, and embracing new experiences. When these foreigners brought gifts to the child and family in the manger, they claimed their ability to be part of the courage, part of the healing, and the welcome needed for transformation. They claimed their ability to uplift this future leader and encourage his gifts by offering their own. The simple message: we have to be the world we want to see, as peacemakers throughout the centuries have advised. At the end of November, the U.S. Conference of Catholic Bishops Committee on Ecumenical and Interreligious Affairs, that's a mouthful, issued a statement to denounce all hatred, persecutions, displays of anti-Semitism directed against Jews at any time and by anyone, just this November. The timing of this affirmation of interfaith respect and protection is profound. The Anti-Defamation League, which tracks anti-Semitic behavior nationwide, found a 34% rise in 2021, averaging more than 7 anti-Semitic incidents per day.
That's not black or gray.
It's felt that this year will be no better. These record-breaking numbers are part of a consistent 5-year upswing. Hatred is on the rise. Fear, a common manipulation in the public discourse. We must remain ever vigilant, came a further statement from the U.S. Catholic bishops, of the various ways in which these dangers arise. In unequivocal terms, we condemn any and all violence directed at the Jewish people, whether motivated by religious, racial, or political grievances. A powerful, important statement. We're seeing this trend of fear and hatred towards LGBTQAI+ persons as well. A trend and a trance of fear that disables any potential for lasting peace and transformative justice. Fear not. Fear not. Today is the first day of Hanukkah, a Jewish festival that reaffirms the ideals of Judaism, honoring the historic rededication of the Second Temple of Jerusalem. It's an 8-day observance centered around resilience and everlasting hope, kindled by a single flame. It speaks of liberation and transformation, the claiming of life and the light within, for and with one another. One core principle that both Judaism and Christianity share is to love your neighbor as yourself. This is a primary practice to usher in world community with peace and justice for all. A Quaker colleague once shared with me that the true work of this principle, love your neighbor as yourself in beloved community, is that there will be at least one person who rubs you the wrong way, and who, though not immediately evident to you, is of equal worth. In any true community, there will be people who can push your buttons, or make your hair stand on end, or get under your skin. This phenomenon is a gift, my Quaker friend reminded me, to practice loving your neighbor as yourself. So the next time you're with someone that drives you nuts, just think inside, thank you for helping me with this gift of loving my neighbor as myself. There is a myth that in healthy communities, you have to like everybody. That's not real. It's not going to happen. You do not have to like everyone. You also do not have to be liked by everyone. That's not what loving your neighbor is all about. Loving your neighbor is about shared power. It's about mutuality. It's about making room in your life for difference and honoring the unique being you are encountering. The better we get at this, the wider our circles become. The better we get at this, the stronger we feel about our ability to encounter the unknown and feel the difference. The better we get at this, the more we fear not. Father Austin Fleming in this morning's reading. Teach us to look east, sweet mystery, and north and south and west, that we might find you in every place we look, including within ourselves. Loving your neighbor as yourself will never be effective or long-lasting.
The black one has a red.
And no true communication can occur without acknowledging the worth of another. There must be an acceptance of the shared potential to understand and believe in one another. It takes courage to claim our own voice. It takes courage to welcome new perspectives. It takes courage to make room for the other. It takes courage to welcome the unknown. So I have a spiritual practice.
Has a black collar.
And hopefully you'll like it enough to keep doing it. For strengthening our peace muscles.
I may.
Spend a few hours without your cell phones.
You're
Once a
picking.
week.
Yeah.
Really without it, not just turned off, like it's not with you.
Be prepared to.
Uninterrupted open time.
How
You
about
can even
red for Ollie?
1 hour,
He
but
likes
try
red
at least
sometimes.
1 hour. Who knows what might occur, what we might see, what we might feel, what we might find out about
Yeah.
ourselves. Invite that open space in yourself and in your seeing. May you each know great
It's
encounters in the days of your life. May you each be more curious than afraid, more welcoming than cynical. May you claim your unique beauty.
Cranberry.
May you recognize that others have beauty to be seen. And may this give you the strength and freedom to honor your days, the planned parts and the surprise encounters.
The navy comes with a red collar too, as does
Amen.
the black.
I would go with black.
Let us sing together hymn number 77 in the gray hymnal seat.
Okay, who do you think
Not
would like the
afar
red
for thee.
collar best?
Please
Ollie?
rise as you are
Ollie.
able in
Ollie?
Ollie.
body and spirit. Sweet mystery. Holy One of many names. You are known in many ways in our lives, cried out by many tongues, and even in silence, the longing is real. Come to our awareness. Help us know the strength and wonder that is within. Help us find the light of love in others. Protect us from malice and give us courage to reach beyond. Let us be forgiving in our brokenness and bold in our compassion. We have wonder within us to share, to be, to find. And I have a local prayer from Dottie. Chris Pitt is resting comfortably in hospice in Hingham. And I'm very grateful for all the support. Dottie is very grateful for the support. And for all the prayers lifted up but unspoken, let's surround them with love. And send good vibes to Chris. The love that is deep within us for him. Amen.
Today's offering is dedicated to the services and ministries of First Parish, Milton. To give, please follow the instructions printed in your order of worship or shown on the Zoom screen. For those in the meeting house, you may deposit checks or cash into the collection plates at either entrance. If you are proud of this church, become its advocate. If you care about its future, share its message. We welcome all to build a just and healthy world with faith, love, and compassion. Please support our faith community by giving as generously as you can. And our closing hymn is 1018.
Extinguish the chalice.
May the flame, as I extinguish the chalice, may the flame of our faith burn deep and wide within us. May we share that light with others, for it will not diminish in the sharing. And may we find peace and goodwill for all in our ways and walking. Have a good week. Amen.
Eric? Hey, Bill.